Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu and this is Dusty Barrens for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic Part 10 of the Bugfix Scenario Pack. Use this empty plot of land in the desert to create a paradise for adrenaline junkies. Your objective, to have 10 different types of roller coasters operating in your park, each with an excitement value of at least 6.00. It does say adrenaline junkies in that description there, so does that mean they'll want more intense rides? I don't know. Okay. So let's have a look. The free admission to the parks. We're going to be charging for the rides. Let's see what the rides we've got. Miniature railway. No gentle rides. Good selection of coasters to begin with. Go-karts. No water rides. And some shops. Not a bad selection. So what I'd usually do for these scenarios, because we're going to need a lot of money, is I'd normally put down some flat rides in order to get the guests to come into the park. We haven't really got any flat rides at all. We've got a go-kart, that's it. So I think we might as well just put the research straight into roller coasters. We've got some good ones to start with. But it's always good to see what else we've got. We've got a huge amount of land to work with. Massive amount of space. Not flat, but it's not that bumpy either. We can't buy any more, though. We can use that front part, but to be honest, it's so huge, the space is, that we're not going to need any. Perhaps if they had to be a minimum length, we might need it, but we're going to be fine. So I think then the best thing for me to do is just start putting down a couple of roller coasters. I think if we begin with a couple of looping coasters, I'll build them in pairs. It'll only count as one because you need to have unique coaster types. But if I build a pair, then you'll get the benefit of the synchronization boost. Plus you've got a couple of coasters as well, so you can get more guests on and more money. April year 1, first coasters done. Threat 11 midnight. Good stats, but the guests don't want to go on it. Lisa wants intensity greater than 9. Alma, intensity greater than 9. Lucas, intensity greater than 9. So remember at the start, it did say adrenaline junkies. So we are going to have to build more intense rides. Now, this one, so it shoots you out and then back, so it's got 4 inversions. If we increase the number of circuits, perhaps alter the launch speed as well, we should be able to quite easily make something that the guests will want to go on. May year 1, and we've got not full, but they're getting full queue lines, so the guests are more than happy to ride the ride. Threat 11 midnight, intensity is now 9.5. Excitement's got a nice boost as well. So what I did was I increased the number of circuits. So now instead of 4 inversions, we've got 12, and we've now got 18 drops. The downside to that is the ride time is now 1 minute 8 seconds. So we're not going to have as much money off these rides as possible, but that's okay because we've also got corkscrew. So we can do a shuttle with them as well. Build a pair of those and the money can start rolling in. October year 1 and another 2 coasters. But this will only count as one. So coaster number 2 then. Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica. Excitement rating 6.33. Intensity 9.96. Guests loving it. Another £10 a go. For this one, takes you up the chain lift. Drops you down into a corkscrew. This corkscrew, they're going so fast. High lateral G, that gives a nice boost to the intensity. That's what we want for this park. Well, that's what the guests want anyway. So that speed going through the corkscrew is what gives the lateral G, and then the loop, spike, and then back. And then just over here then, we've got Wild Mouse coaster, Wild Mine Train coaster. Right in the start of the fire, should be starting to see a theme. Now with the names, maybe. Intensity 8.3, so it's not over the 9. But the guests are so happy that they are going to ride it anyway. I could, if I wanted to increase the intensity on this one, I could just add a load of drops, just a load of little sort of tiny little bumps at the end to increase the number of drops, and that would boost the intensity. But to be honest, the guests are going on it, so that's fine. Got some shops down, putting down a load of toilets and kiosks. So the kiosks are going to make me a lot of money if and when it does rain. Set that to £20 umbrellas. And the toilets, by having a load of toilets, we might win best toilets, might get a boost of guests. So what I'm going to be doing is building path loops. So this path now, I'm going to continue down here, up there, behind the coaster there, connect it to there. That way then we got a nice space in the middle, and I'm going to carry on doing the same, build coasters in the middle, and eventually then we'll have some nice spaces on the outside that we can build coasters as well. Speaking of which, let's crack on with coaster number 4. October year 2, making 13,000 a month now on ride tickets, over 1,000 guests in the park. The rating's on maximum, so the guests are loving it. Coaster number 4, the Scranton Strangler, again built in pairs, so the excitement just under 6.7, intensity 9.44. Nice path through the loops there to give her a nice bonus. So it shoots out 2 loops, up, some twists, and then back down. Any second now. There you go. Cool. So that's coaster number 4. This was number 5 over here. www.creedthoughts.gov.www.creedthoughts. So this one is a modified version of my arc twister in the tutorial section. So what I've done is I've extended the boost down in order to get some high speed through the Cobra roll. So that'll add some lateral G, some high lateral G there. So it's in the red, so that gives it a nice intensity boost, 9.4. And then it comes down then, and then you've got the little twist for a section and back. So it's a Mobius coaster, so it's one complete circuit. Let's see if we can see the speed when it comes out. There you go. So it's going about 50 into that Cobra roll. And then number 6 then. Flippity flip. 9.88 intensity. It was over 10. I had to get rid of a few inversions at the end. So up the chain lift, down, nice long sweeping bend, and then down. A little airtime hill into half loop and a corkscrew, half corkscrew round, and then down. At the start though, it comes out. Is it going to make it? It is. Into a corkscrew, into the second corkscrew, down, cut back, and then back around. There's a little block break there before going on to the chain lift. Cool. So we got a huge space to use. And what are we up to? Number 6. So we only got 4 more to go, and we've got tons of space. Let's see what coasters we've got as well. I'm probably not going to bother with I used that Wooden Wild Mine at the beginning because it was cheap, and we just wanted to get some rides down in order to get guests into the park and get some money. I've got tons of cash now, so I don't need to go cheap and cheerful. So I won't bother with any of these small ones. Perhaps the Hypercoaster. Flawless, always a good one. Maybe. Although I have got a twister, so maybe we'll go for something different. Giga Coaster, they're always good. Maybe an inverted coaster. We don't use these very often, so I might put one of them down. Airport coaster, that'd be too easy. They're overpowered, so I won't bother doing one of them. Maybe a massive vertical drop or something. So let's carry on building. August year 3, one thing I've done is I've redesigned threat level midnight. So instead of being over a minute long now, the ride is only 22 seconds long. So having this section here, that means that I'm able to crank the speed up so we can launch at 60, does the loop, up, down, loop, and then back to the station. Okay, so what have we got over here? Let's do number 7 first. Wooden coaster. I declare bankruptcy. 8.3 excitement, 9.87 intensity. So up the chain lift, down this little bend here, a couple of loops, around, loop, interacts with itself, and it dumps you into the water. In order to, that it's just a nice way of having a break. Slows the train down a lot. So let's have a look at this section here. Cool. And then coaster number 8, vertical drop. So out of the station, bend. This one's called Dundee's. Diagonal chain lift. We don't see them very often. And then the first drop then. Down. Let's check out the speed through it. 60 miles an hour into the loop. Second loop underground. Another 2 loops. Photo section and up the chain lift. And then thankfully there's one already at the top. Drops you down. And then a nice long fast section then to finish off. Cool. 9.5 intensity, excitement 8.3. And then we've got the wing coaster just here, or the multi-dimension coaster. How the turntables. So up the chain lift, into the first invert, and then down, and up, twist, down, back, and then a series of inversions, back, around, and then back to the station. 7 excitement, 9.42 intensity. Still on testing. I think, to be honest, what I'll do, since this one isn't already open, I think I'll just shut it down. What I'll do is I'll stop it. If we toggle the speed, there you go. So that wipes the test results. So we know this one's good. As soon as we test it, the results are going to come back. So now I'll build the last coaster, and then when we come back, then we can run the multi-dimensional coaster on test and pass the scenario. March year 4, we've got 10 coasters in the park, but the park doesn't realize we have because some of them aren't open and tested. So let's open them all. So this Mobius Giga Coaster launches you out of the station, just out here. Now, this launch track on the inside, there's one launch tile missing just from there. So that way, this train is going slightly slower, so that when it comes down this inside track, and then back to the outside, and then down to this high 5 element here, they should be more or less together. Helixes, and then back to the station. Of course, once the guests start going on there, since they've got random weights, that might throw that out, but it shouldn't be too far off. It's always a bit of a risk having things like the high 5 element and the helixes, because if you are out of sync, they're going to highlight it. So how's this one doing? So once this one comes back to the station, the orange one, how the turntables, once that comes back, the test results will come in, and we can pass the scenario. The Giga Coaster, Prison Mic, 9.31 intensity, 9.48 excitement. So we already know the excitement on it is good enough. The game just needs to realize it as well. Don't think we got any balloons on this one. So there won't be any guests dropping them, letting them go. And we've done it. Stew. Awesome sauce. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you're just waiting for that to pop up. You're like, I know I've done everything, but sometimes you forget there's like a ride that you haven't opened, or maybe you've built 2 of the same ride or something. I know I've built 2 of the same ride. But you know what I mean. You haven't got 10 unique coasters. There's always that little doubt in your mind that you've done something slightly wrong. Let's have a quick recap then. Came in, we need to build 10 unique coasters over 6 excitement. Built the first pair of loopers, but the guests didn't want to go on it because they wanted intensity over 9. So I increased the design to 3 circuits. That boosted the intensity. Guests were going on it, but it did make for a lot slower ride. So I have later redesigned it so I can launch it faster and it can do a complete circuit. After that, then built a pair of corkscrews and a pair of these mine cars over here. And then we got a pair of the limb coasters. After that, the money's starting to roll in. So we built the nice big twister just over here. The stand-up coaster just there. The wooden coaster just over here. And then we've got the stupidly long vertical drop coaster just over here. The wing coaster. The wing coaster just there. And the gig coaster. Prism mic. So all the names of the trains of the roller coasters are all references to the US version of The Office. So give yourself a, I don't know, a Shroot buck or something if you got that. My name's Stu. This was Dusty Barrens. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.